COO of SZV explains the new normal at the health provider institution. Minister of Sport says it is important to highlight the many endeavors of the organizations that enhance and develop programs. And the collectivité on France Saint Martin urges state to lift border restrictions. Those are the headlines for Tuesday, September the 15th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News, and I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you this evening, so let's get started. In our first story out of French Saint Martin, President of the Collectivité, Daniel Gibbs, disclosed that he alerted the Minister for Overseas France, Sébastien Lecornu, on September the 7th, requesting that he lift border controls and instead strengthen health resources and protocols in Saint Martin. President Gibbs said that it would be inappropriate not to take into account the socio-economic consequences of the controls and to request their removal as of September the 15th. The collectivité reiterates the urgency today consists in working hand in hand with Saint Martin by jointly preventing the spread of COVID-19 and by creating together conditions for economic recovery. Extension of border controls beyond September 1st caused major difficulties for families and businesses on both sides of the island, the collectivité pointed out. It says that the priority now is to restore free movement of goods and people throughout the island in the spirit of the Treaty of Concordia. If this restriction was justified in August on the arguments of health, it no longer seems relevant today. All the indicators show that border controls have not been able to stop the circulation of the virus. Their effectiveness is an illusion, particularly as many pedestrians bypass the checkpoints. The prefecture, which is responsible for public health, should now relaunch discussions with the government of Saint Martin to set up a joint health plan for the whole island, allowing Saint Martiners to move freely between north and south while complying with strict health rules. We are convinced this joint plan would bring the serenity necessary for the economic and social reconstruction of the territory. Meanwhile, the closure of the border and the ultimatum that is being issued by the Swaliga United held a press conference earlier today at Cito's Place in Grand Cause to address the issues surrounding the lifting of the border restrictions on French Saint Martin. In his address, a member of the Swaliga United, Victor Payne, said that his objective of the meeting was to fight the fight and to win the battle against COVID-19. He gave a background on the issues with the delegated prefet, Sylvie Fauchère, and what their next move will be. Mr. Payne says that tonight, midnight, is the deadline. Another one of the speakers at the press conference, Katie Payne, says that curbing or mitigating the spread of the coronavirus, that checkpoint is really not what the purpose is there for. It is not serving any purpose except to creating fear.
As you know, on this side of the island, the state representative, Madame Griffin City Fisher, has issued a first executive order that went into effect on September 1st and is supposed to be ending on September 15th, which is tomorrow. Today midnight. Wait a minute. Today midnight. And in that executive order, her position is that to be able to fight the virus, border controls and border blockage needed to be put into effect so as to, according to her, curb the rise of COVID. You people probably already have some evidence, namely a communique from a collective of at least 15 doctors on St. Martin who were testifying to the fact that the disease or the cases on St. Martin has been rising and on the peninsula, even with the border control policy. We know and we will not accept that a stigmatization of part of the St. Martin people be put into place, a separation of the St. Martin people be put into place, and that is exactly and the only thing that those measures are doing. They stigmatize St. Martin South as being, I guess, the only place where on St. Martin COVID-19 exists. We know that's not true. It's also give when we have to report on our country. Our island is a touristic island, and we need to be an exemplary in everything. But the idea that there's border control and hassles and tussles and difficulties and children not being able to go to school because they live in on St. Martin South is very, very bad report internationally for St. Martin. We have, on the other hand, Chamber of Commerce, and we appreciate this morning the president of the Chamber of Commerce of St. Martin South and other various social professional organizations who have already issued a joint communique with the Chamber of Commerce of St. Martin. Now, where they are saying that instead of fighting the COVID, this thing is killing an economy that is already almost non-existent. But with all this already, and in the way how the state is trying to impose on us that we must go through another phase again from September 15th to September to October 1st is unacceptable. So we the people, under the umbrella of Swadiga United, with various organizations in the community, have joined our forces together to decide and demand, to call for a massive action plan from tomorrow morning.
Curbing or mitigating the spread of the coronavirus, because we have people traveling back and forth on this island every day. So that checkpoint is really not what the purpose of it is there for. It is not serving any purpose other than to create fear in people. Because when you're advocating that you are protecting, you are erecting a control point to safeguard a community without doing any kind of medical tests at that checkpoint, you need to ask yourself, what are you really controlling?
And still to come, President of CBCS says that it is not possible for St. Martin or Curacao to access the international capital market. And we'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I am Valerie Van Putten. In other news, the Ministry of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication announced reductions of the prices at the pumps for unleaded gasoline and diesel fuel as of 6 a.m. this morning, Tuesday, September the 15th. Followed downward developments on the international market for crude oil, the government of St. Martin has lowered the maximum price for unleaded gasoline from the current price of 1.721 guilder cents per liter to the new price of 1.706 cents per liter. The price for diesel will be changed from the current price of 1.222 guilder liters to the new price of 1.169. The price change for these two petroleum products was announced by the TIAT Ministry early Monday evening. And in other news, the House of Parliament sat in a plenary public session on Monday, September the 14th, 2020. The new president of the CBCS of the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin, Richard Doornbosch, was present to address the agenda points which was discussed with the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin concerning the banks extending further moratoriums to their consumers and other measures to ease the hardships currently being faced in the community as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. In addressing the issue of accessing money on the international capital market, President of CBCS, Mr. Richard Doornbosch, says that it is not possible for St. Martin or Curaçao to access the international capital market without the approval of the Kingdom Council. When asked what is Aruba doing to access the money from the capital market for funds and how they are going to access money, the president expounded.
Was referred to Aruba. And I will confirm this, that it is not possible for St. Martin or for Curaçao to access the international capital markets without approval of the Kingdom Council. And so the question was, what is Aruba doing? So last week, I have been informed by my staff that Aruba has access to the local market, issued a bond on the local market. And there, the Prime Minister indicated in the press that she would like to access the international capital market. But of course, that's not the same that she already was granted this access by the Kingdom Council. That is still necessary. And finally, I'd like to say about this issue is that Aruba has kept a track record in the international capital markets over the years, whereas, of course, in the case of Curaçao and St. Martin, in the last 10 years, we have not accessed the international capital market, and that makes a difference. Another question was that stressing the importance of paying proper wages and proper benefit to the people of St. Martin. I agree, this is important, but I also, of course, and we understand that, of course, companies first need to earn a living before they can pay wages, and tax officers can only collect money from profitable businesses and use that to pay proper government wages. So in the end, it all comes down to economic growth and what is the best way to support growth. With regard to the interest rate paid or being charged on mortgages, what we've seen is that the interest rates around the world have been reduced over the years because of the balance between the supply and investment, or between savings and investments, and that is translating in the market also in St. Martin, but not to the full extent. And there's of course still a difference, and that is the assessment of financial institutions on the credit risks in the local market. So the credit risk in St. Martin are not the same as in Anguilla, are not the same as in St. Lucia, etc. So there will be a difference. It has also to do with the competition between financial institutions, and it has also to do with the cost structure of the market. So it's a complex set of factors that will determine what is the exact interest rate, but for sure it has been on a declining path also in St. Martin.
And in more news for you at this time, Minister of Sports, Dr. Anders Rodolph Samuel, at the opening of the Sports and Creative Industries Open House, which was held virtually yesterday, said he was pleased with the open house, and from the perspective of sports, it is important to highlight the many endeavors of the organizations that enhance and develop programs. He expounded and then declared the open house officially open.
We are here at the start of the 6th Annual Sport and Creative Industries Open House. I would like to take this time to commend the Department of Sports and Culture for their tireless efforts in organizing this year's open house. Government sees the importance of supporting our stakeholders, and more specifically, we want to support organizations who endeavor to promote both sports and culture. With this year's virtual open house, as presented by our departments, several athletes and artists have been engaged to display their unique talents and share their artistry with the community of St. Martin. The department's persistent effort in hosting the Sports and Creative Industries Open House is vital, as it is no secret that sports and culture are a great means of boosting our local economy. From the perspective of sports, it is important to highlight the many endeavors of the organizations that enhance and develop programs, the coaches who ensure their personal development in their respective sports, and the athletes who work hard to ensure their success nationally, regionally, and internationally. In conclusion, I applaud the efforts of all the stakeholders and organizations for continually looking to build their respective disciplines. As a ministry, we wish to continue bringing awareness to what they do, as well as the hard work and dedication they put in. Considering the times we are currently facing, I would like to encourage persons to take advantage of the opportunities to develop these areas, as the potential for success is limitless. With that being said, I hereby open the 6th virtual edition of the Sports and Creative Industries Open House.
And we will have more of the Sport and Creative Industries Open House in tomorrow's broadcast, where we will feature the head of the Sports Department, Janelle Richardson, and the head of the Culture Department, Clara Reyes, along with some of the stakeholders. And as we continue with our series with SZV, with the new normal at our health insurance providers at SZV, the Chief Operations Officer of SZV spoke to our newsroom about the face-to-face with the control doctors and examination of patients as it pertains to when visiting the control doctor.
Look, first of all, just for you to understand, our doctors, we do not treat patients. Some people say, yeah, but the doctor didn't see me, the doctor didn't. Listen, the doctor do not have to touch you, don't have to see, because we are not treating. That is your GP or your specialist, that's their job. Mm-hmm. We are just only assessing, are you fit for work or not with the ailment that you have. Okay? One other thing, we want to say that, okay, we should be able to trust that when you tell my doctor that I have a broken leg, that you really have a broken leg.
Exactly.
But as Reagan said, President Reagan said a long time ago, trust but verify. So if you say you have a broken leg, that means you have an x-ray, you have an x-ray report, you have a medical report from the doctor, something. So we do ask you to submit documentation. So when the doctor talks, okay, send me the doctor. Sometimes there are things that you can't see. Exactly. If you buy a psychologist, for example, okay, send me leave your psychologist or your physical therapist, write something so we have it on the record so we could say, okay, yes, it makes sense, bam, yes, you're on sick leave. Or if we don't agree with the assessment, we could also say, let's say, yes, with this ailment, we still feel that you can work. And we do it. Because again, Not because you are sick does it mean that you can't work. There's two different things. We're not assessing if you're sick. We're assessing can you
Are
work.
you able to work?
Are you able to work if with the sickness or due to the accident that you have? Yes or no? That is the only thing we're doing. And I must say it works because now the employee is forced to make sure that they send information. And listen, as well, it's not even something new because even when they used to come face to face, they had to bring this documentation too. Although, yes, I could see that you have a broken leg, I still need to see what the medical report is saying from the specialist, from the x-ray department, whatever, so we can assess, oh, based on this, so we can see that how badly broken it is. And we could see what the doctor told you that, yes, you'll be 6 weeks out of commission, and we can take that also in our assessment.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for September the 15th, 2020, there are 4 tropical cyclones present in the Atlantic Basin: Hurricane Paulette, Hurricane Sally, Tropical Storm Teddy, and Tropical Storm Vicky. And based on the projected paths, these systems do not pose a direct threat to St. Martin. In an area of disturbed weather located over the far eastern tropical Atlantic, it, however, has a high 70% chance of formation through the next 5 days. The Meteorological Department of St. Martin will continue to monitor these systems and update the public accordingly. So, the outlook through Thursday morning: fair to partly cloudy and slightly hazy with local showers possible. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, AntiPoverty Platform fields questions about St. Martin opting to go independent. And we'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. At the AntiPoverty Platform SAPP press conference last Thursday, member of the SAPP St. Martin Anti-Poverty Platform, Claire Elshot, and president of the WIFO, Theophilus Thompson, fielded questions from SXM Daily News about St. Martin opting to go independent. Meanwhile, member of the SAPP, Claire Elshot, sent a clear message to Dutch State Secretary of Home and Kingdom Relations, Raymond Knops. In her message, Mrs. Elshot says, when we look at the developments of the people in St. Martin, and Mr. Knops says he wants to help the people, then he must cut the baloney, cut the crap, and do what he has to do, and what is his obligation to help the people.
That is not today for tomorrow, you know. There is a process, and within that process, you must prepare. You must prepare. You must prepare the territory. You must prepare the colony. And education, health, culture, social affairs, languages, all those are part of your putting in place. Already, the European Union has in Brussels an institution that will take care of most of these requirements from the United Nations. But our leadership doesn't either know or realize that and capitalize on that. If you don't know, then they will turn you around and twist you around. If there's supposed to be no hunger in the world by 2030, and you're going to impose measures that will bring about poverty and hunger, an agreement that you sign off on and said that there should be none, what happened? There's no equal remuneration within the kingdom.
when we look at the development of the people in St. Martin, if Knops is saying in the second chamber over in the Atlantic that he wants to help the people, then he must cut his baloney, cut the crap that he is getting on with, and then he must step in and really do what he has to do, what is his obligation to do to help the people. And there are enough entities here in St. Martin that can explain him what the help is needed, because we know what help is needed for the people. Okay? Go down the whole checklist and you will be able to see. At the St. Martin Housing Development Foundation, they have a backup of people living in cars, containers, and all kind of under the bridge, and all kind of different conditions right now in St. Martin. What is it? You know why he don't want to come to St. Martin, because when he came to Curacao, in his speech he said he was shocked by the poverty in Curacao. He was shocked by the poverty. Well, probably he'll get a heart attack by the poverty in St. Martin, because in the second chamber, he is speaking about the wealth that it got in St. Martin. But if you are speaking about the wealth, you don't make sure that it is equally distributed, this wealth, that is equally, or that the workers can get their fair share. On the contrary, you are sending measures that will affect the workers, are going to affect the workers, then you are hypocritically talking about you want to help the people. And I want Knops to help himself to basically stop the semantics and the nonsense and come out and do what he have to do. Of course, it's their money, it's a loan, and basically my grandchildren and all would have to be paying back this money when you look at it. So we don't accept for you to give me a loan with all kind of different conditions where you'll kill my grandchildren before you kill me.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, Member of Parliament for the National Alliance, the Honorable George Pontiflet, speaking to our newsroom recently, addressed the issue of the Red Cross and the pensioners. The Member of Parliament says that he has received numerous calls and he is bothered by the issue of the Red Cross who are not helping the senior citizens.
Now, something that is bothering me very much, and I must touch on it, is the issue of the Red Cross. I've been receiving numerous calls, and I'm sure colleagues also have been receiving the same calls from pensioners, 66, 67, 70 years of age, who are saying that the Red Cross is telling them, I am sorry, but the government is paying you your pension, so therefore we can't assist you. Now, I have an issue with that to the extent that, and I bring it back to Minister Knops, because he said, he didn't say the Red Cross, because according to me, the Red Cross is an international organization that functions all over the world. But when he said the Dutch Red Cross, then a light bulb went down on my head, because if this is the Dutch Red Cross, which means he has control over the Dutch Red Cross. I also heard him say that they sent 40 million guilders or whatever to the Caribbean region. I wonder exactly how much, how it was allocated. Does he have a control of that? And why do I say this? There are persons who are saying their neighbors getting assistance while they themselves are in the same or even worse condition, and the neighbors getting assistance, vouchers, food on a consistent basis, but they themselves are not getting it. And then what this is doing is placing government in a very difficult situation. And as I tell these people, I said, look, you cannot blame government because we have no control. Minister Knops says that we are corrupt, we are a bunch of crooks and thieves, he can't trust us, so therefore it has to go to these organizations. And I'm saying, if this is the case, then Minister Knops, please tell our people in St. Martin, why is it that our pensioners and those that are vulnerable cannot get assistance from the Red Cross? People of St. Martin, I want to say this again to you. We are strong enough. We are more than a resilient people. Keep in mind, don't allow ourselves to be divided.
And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.